So Teofimo Lopez defeats Steve Claggett via unanimous decision. Easy fight to score. You may say Claggett won maybe 2 rounds in the fight, maybe the first and then maybe the 12th. I mean, but he made Teofimo work for it. As far as Teofimo goes, Teofimo hasn't had very many stoppages since he's went up in weight. I cannot remember the last time he's had a stoppage. But with that being said, when you watch Teofimo Lopez, you watch how he fights, you watch his style versus other style, and it's just always a question mark of who do you think Teofimo could beat when it comes to the so-called elites or the elites. How would he fare against Tank? How would he fare against Devin Haney? How would he fare against somebody like Pitbull Cruz? But he's saying he's willing to go up 2 weight classes to fight Terrence Crawford. He has no chance. Teofimo has no chance versus Terrence Crawford. That's a 4-round fight. Terrence Crawford will mount the floor with Teofimo Lopez. At the end of the day, Teofimo, he did some good work, but Teofimo, to me, got hit a lot. I mean, Claggett did some nice things, keeping Teofimo pent up against the ropes. But Teofimo had enough punch resistance to take his best shots. I don't think Claggett is a big puncher. I think for the most, they figured that Claggett was somebody that Teofimo should be able to go in there and stop due to the fact that he isn't considered a big puncher. So now you have to question what is Teofimo's power at the higher weight classes. You know, he hasn't had a stoppage in a while, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to keep like analyzing and looking at Teofimo. Like this is the thing. You think he doesn't have a chance against Josh Taylor, and then he shows up and shows out versus Josh Taylor. Then, he has a lackluster performance versus Jermaine Ortiz in a fight that many people thought that Jermaine Ortiz won that fight. Then he won this fight clearly, but at the end of the day, dude made it rough for him, even though he hit Claggett with some big shots. Claggett kept coming, even though it looked like in the eighth that he hurt Claggett very bad. Looked like he hurt him very bad in the 11th. Looked like he was on the verge of getting a stoppage. He wasn't able to get the stoppage, you know, and that's just the annoying part about Teofimo Lopez. You know, so I'm really trying to figure out where does Teofimo fit as far as in between one. He's probably not ever going to go back down to 135, but you have to ask yourself, okay, so where does Teofimo fit as far as anywhere from 140 to 147? He's talking about he's going up to 147. Everybody keep talking about Devin Haney doesn't have any power. Well, Teofimo doesn't seem to have very much power since he's moved up in weight. I mean, his boxing skills are still there. Like I said, Teofimo was throwing some nice uppercuts. The uppercut was there for him all night. Basically, every punch was there for him all night because basically he fought a dude where you truly saw the meaning of his offense is his defense and his defense is his offense. And he still couldn't do nothing. And then here's something else that you have to put into account about Teofimo Lopez as far as landed him a big fight. Teofimo Lopez against pretty much anybody he fights, in all likelihood, he would be the B side because Teofimo doesn't have any drawing power. Now I don't know how many people I don't know how many people this venue that he fought in holds, but it didn't look like very many people was there. It was a lot of people there by, I'm saying the size of the venue, but it wasn't a full fledged stadium or arena. and Teofimo just don't have no drawing power. You know, they tried to put him in the Garden a few years ago, and nobody came to see him. He only could get like 7,000 people in the Garden. It's funny, you know, you have people that sit up here and talk about other people drawing power and who don't sell, but Teofimo is a prime example of a dude who doesn't sell. You know, Lomachenko don't have much drawing power, but here's the thing about Devin Haney. Um, the last few fights Devin Haney has headlined, Devin Haney has been able to get at least over 10,000 people to come see him fight, whether they was coming to see him lose, whether they was coming to see him win, or whether they was coming to have an observation of him versus future opponents. Devin Haney was able to sell tickets. I know Oscar De La Hoya was trying to say the fight didn't sell. Well, you need to look at Ryan Garcia, who did everything in his power to sabotage that fight, including not making weight and taking PEDs and continuing to lie about it. But looking at Teofimo Lopez, I'm just like, where does this guy fit? Where did you fit Teofimo Lopez? Who do you match Teofimo up with, and you have this sure thing that he's gonna win that fight? Teofimo is a toss up versus anybody. I'm talking about it's a toss up. It's a toss up with him versus Ryan Garcia. It's a toss up with him versus Isaac Cruz. It's a toss up with him versus Devin Haney. Uh, Tank, in all likelihood, Tank will stop him. If Shakur Stevenson moves up, in all likelihood, Teofimo Lopez will get circles boxed around him by Tank. All these fights are toss ups. Does he have the capability of winning those fights? Yeah, absolutely. But the problem is, are you willing to bet the farm on Teofimo Lopez? And my answer to that is hell no. Hell no. Teofimo is the type of dude is you just watch the fight as it progresses, and then you just make your assessment like I'm making right now. I'm just one of them dudes. I just wouldn't bet I wouldn't bet my life savings on Teofimo Lopez because he is a very up and down fighter. I think some fights he gets up for, and I just think some, you know, he doesn't. You know, I give him credit for coming out that Michael Jackson beat it, but you know, still, he didn't make Steve Claggett beat it. Well, Brian Norman Jr. Teofimo Lopez gonna be a meme. he gonna he gonna be a meme. I don't like his chances against Brian Norman Jr. You know, I don't like his chances against Brian Norman Jr. I see Teofimo Lopez getting the shit beat out of him by Norman Jr. and getting stopped. So I don't think they should make that fight whatsoever. He has no chance versus Crawford. Crawford will knock him into the middle of next week. Crawford would get you know, here's the thing. You know how these so-called boxing fans is they would destroy they I'm talking about they would literally go after Terrence Crawford, even though a lot of them don't like Teofimo Lopez, but just because Terrence Crawford is black and Teofimo is non-black, they would say, oh, Terrence Crawford is a bully. Nobody asked for that fight. And I don't even know why Terrence Crawford took a fight like that. You know, even though Canelo got high praise for fighting basically Jamel Charlo, a guy that had never went up that many weight classes and then had been very inactive. So I mean, but Canelo get all the praise in the world, but you know that they'll go after Terrence Crawford. They'll say they'll say Terrence Crawford is a fraud and stuff because you know at the end of the day, you know we don't have that luxury. You know, hell, Brian Norman Jr. father and Teofimo Jr. father might exchange blows, but I don't like Teofimo in that fight versus Brian Norman Jr. But if they make that fight happen, they should put that fight. They should put that fight in the ATL. They should put that. They should put that fight in that arena that I think they call what was the name of the Atlanta um, WNBA team. I forgot what they WNBA team is called, but they play, and they could put that fight in that venue, and I think that fight will sell out. But yeah, I don't like that fight for I don't like that fight for Tiafibo. But I'm not gonna come down on him too hard. But they put you in the ring with guys like Claggett because they want you to knock those guys out, and he just couldn't knock that guy. What was the last? Hey, somebody check and see what was the last time Teofimo Lopez had a knockout. He hasn't had a stoppage in a while. And when I say he hadn't had a stoppage in a while, he haven't had a stoppage in a while. I'm really trying to think when was the last time Teofimo Lopez actually stopped somebody. Wow. Damn, that was like 2000. Damn, that was like 2019 or something. Bud was still with top rank with that. Damn, so he haven't had a stoppage since Bud was still with top rank. Yeah, that's all I need to know. Yeah, because I was trying to think. I was like, "Hey, when was the last time this dude had a stoppage? He haven't had a stoppage in a while." Oh, okay, okay. My bad, my bad, my bad. So in between Richard Kami and this dude, he's only then had two stoppages. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The dude's power is a question at the higher weight class. This is, here's the thing. This is when you really rely on your skills when your power, when you start to lose some of your power when you go up in weight. It happened to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, when he went to welterweight, I think Floyd Mayweather maybe at best had maybe two knockouts, maybe three, but Floyd's boxing skills was far superior to everybody else. He managed. I mean, Floyd wasn't a super puncher, but he hit hard enough to keep people honest. He hit hard enough to keep people from just coming forward. Same thing with Andre Ward. Andre Ward wasn't a super power puncher, but Andre Ward hit hard enough to keep people off of him. You know, he had enough power to keep people honest. You know, he had enough power to where people just didn't want to come in there and take shots. And that's what Floyd did. And you have to wonder, maybe that's what guys like Teofimo Lopez need to do. Because, Pernell Whitaker didn't have a bunch of knockouts, but he could box circles around most people he fought. And he had decent power. I mean, he was like a superior boxer. So, I thought Tiafimo's conditioning looked decent in this fight. I didn't see him really gassing. He was picking he was picking his spots, very efficiently. The uppercut, like I said, was nice. The combination punching was nice. I just don't think he has a lot of power. Just don't think he has a lot of power, at 140. So this is when he has to rely on the skills. But I think Teofimo, sometimes you can see the frustration when he fights, and I think that could be a problem for him versus somebody like Tank or Shakur Stevenson or somebody like that, because you can see the frustration. He doesn't have a good poker face. You know, you could tell he was frustrated because he couldn't get the dude out of there. So seeing Teofimo uh, in this particular fight, I mean, as far as his performance go, I mean, he got the W. I mean, he basically landed at will versus this dude. But here's the yeah in the butt factor. Yeah, he outboxed dude. He clearly won the fight, but the problem is, shit, he had stopped a dude like this who was basically a punching bag. I mean, dude was like the heavy bag that you basically, practice boxing on outside, either outside in the backyard or in the garage or whatever. And like I said before, he hit dude with everything, and he still just couldn't accumulate enough power to even drop the dude. He buckled him a few times, but he just didn't have what it takes to get him out of there. And I think that's his concern, and I think that's something that we're gonna have to look at in the near future. And Teofimo says he wants to stay active. Said he wants to fight in September, and then he wants to fight in December. See, the problem is with Teofimo Lopez, when you fight Teofimo Lopez, the problem is not a whole bunch of money in fighting Teofimo Lopez because he doesn't have drawing power. Nobody's going to pay to see him on pay per view, and nobody's And the problem is he can't sell out a 10,000 seat or 10,000 plus seat arena. No matter what type of antics Teofimo Lopez tries, no matter what stupid stuff he says, he still cannot develop a huge following. And that's the problem. Well, like I said with Teofimo, there's some fights he get up for and there's some fights he don't. I think he tried in this fight, but I think you saw the frustration when he wasn't able to get dude out of there. He doesn't have a good game face. All right, so there you have it. I'll be back with more. Boy Town. I'm out.